We're in hour 3. How about that?
Fantastic.
But I want to hear what you have to say. What's your?
So
I want to know what your vision is for this home. I also want to hear that.
Okay, I'll double back to that in a second. But I will say that overall, the manipulation aspect and the speaking the dream out loud, one thing that is common, the American dream. I was always told and sold that this was what you wanted to do. This was peak.
Yeah.
The white picket fence, the
Yeah.
family home,
Yeah.
all that fun fact. And yes, it's very, very easy to manipulate other people as long as it's a mass manipulation effect. And you just, look, this is what you want.
Yes.
So I do agree that people need to be more aware of what they want and what they strive for and constantly be fine with facing adversity for it because it doesn't always come easy.
It never comes easy.
Never.
Ever.
No.
So,
And it shouldn't.
I mean, maybe a little easier.
Have you ever met people that had everything come easy to them?
They are obnoxious.
There you go.
Oh my God, no humble effect at all. They just cannot relate with other people, no empathy, no understanding, just me.
Yes.
So I do understand with the easier it comes, the more narcissistic you become.
Entitlement is a curse. You know what I mean?
It is.
Incredibly
Doesn't
so.
help. Yeah.
But it is nice to have a little bit of support or at least stable ground to where you know if you fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you want what you two have, which is you've got somebody who's got your back. But it
Yes.
doesn't mean that you can make it easy for each other either, right? Because
No.
that can also become entitlement and start to rip people apart in relationships. Entitlement is dangerous. That is
Very.
you want to avoid that at all costs. But having somebody that's your ride or die, that's necessary, right? Like it's hard to win a game if you don't have somebody that you can count on.
need her to ace it up, clutch.
There we go. All right, so give me a quick rundown on the dream house
All
here.
right, give me the blueprint. Give
All right,
give
so
the layout.
tell me if I'm wrong. All right.
Okay.
You know the subterranean garages?
I
It's
think I know
under the house.
Oh, I
That's
like those. Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, the foundation's more expensive, but I want at least a 2-car garage for that. I do want my own setup for a garage, so if we want to work on cars, we can do it. So we can raise a nice project car, we can put another car under, we have space for another, and then outdoor
Okay, so
parking.
you're talking about one of those like.
I want an actual lift.
Okay, and when you drive into your subterranean garage, is it
goes
one of those
under.
like it's like a CD spinner where your car is parked on this like thing that spins around and then comes up?
that's
Nothing like
too
that.
fancy.
Okay.
I would even accept a nice, as she said, she wants acres. So we want at
You
least
want like a 2-post lift where you can get that sucker down there, get it up, and you can do all the work. Which,
Correct.
if you've ever worked on a lift, it is impossible to think about working a car not on a lift
It
because
is
it's just
horrible.
It's
Just a jack and some stands.
Oh, it's
I've done
terrible.
it. It is god awful.
terrible.
But yeah, so even like with the couple acreage in mind, you know,
Mm-hmm.
at least an acre in front or half acre in front, and then the acreage can be in the back. But we've already discussed we want like space to where we can have chickens or like
Yeah.
ducks
Yes.
or a small farm area. We want to enjoy the outdoors.
Okay.
So a nice thing that we've realized when we come over here is that we're more in tune with nature.
Mm-hmm.
So me growing up in Ohio, I grew up like outside of the city, but I also grew up in New York where it's a city. So I found that here is a nice in between of both. So you get a
Definitely.
little bit of the busy and then the nice nature.
I was very suburban, like not very nature-esque.
Yeah.
Like we went from Bronx to Staten Island, so it was still like very city in tune.
Yep.
So I really just want like the aspect of nature, and then like both my parents, they grew up in very different cultures where they were more in tune with nature, and they exposed me to that, and I'm like, I want more of this.
Okay. Well, I think that you just did a beautiful job leading us into the third hour, which is starting to set your vision for what the future is. And I think that you just described a pretty beautiful future. Couple acres, a ladies and gentlemen farm that's happening out there. We've got a beautiful garage where we've got a lift where you can work on the old school Nissan GT.
It'd be an old school Nissan GTR, but it's a whole, I can't remember the technical name for it. Can you?
The Nissan GTR Skyline.
Can I phone a friend? Can we look up the 1970 Nissan GTR?
Put in my phone a
It's
friend button.
boxy.
Okay, Oliver's gonna look that
All right,
up.
the voice of
and
God.
then if we get back to question 7, who does this go to?
Me. I think you went.
Right, because I opened the last one.
You
right?
did.
Yes.
Okay.
While our phone a friend is discussing, anyway, I would love my 1992 Mazda Miata with a wide body kit. That would be great.
So listen, my father owns. I don't know how many Miatas he has at this current moment, but the man must have owned 25 or 30 Miatas. So if at some point you need to learn how to drive a manual Miata, let me know. We'll find one for you. We'll get you out there. We'll make sure that you have the
I have
experience.
to learn it anyway. We were already discussing like now with it growing, like with the business growing, we were like, do we want to just save for a storefront or do we want kind of like a boost and get like a food truck? And it's gonna sound a little insane, but imagine a little K truck driving around Amesbury.
A little what?
K truck. It's a Japanese K truck.
Oh, like those. I think
Those
I know what
compact ones
Yeah.
that you see in movies, and it's like they always have vegetables on the back. It's a little white truck.
Yes, I
and
know
it's
what they are.
right-hand drive.
Yep.
It's standard
Is the
most of
word
the time.
that you might be looking for hakusuka? It says this is the nickname for the 1970 Nissan Skyline GTR.
Is that by chance boxy with the mirrors on the hood?
Yes.
That would be
Okay,
it then.
that's the one he's got in his garage. Let's log that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, we are into the final 3 questions, which is all about your vision for the future. So,
This is gonna get spicy. Anyway, how do you stay emotionally grounded as you face new challenges in your journey? Aside from having like the future goal in mind, how do you stay emotionally grounded? That's tough.
do you
wanna-
find yourselves not feeling emotionally grounded sometimes?
Yes.
And what are the moments that make you feel not emotionally grounded?
My good.
You have your hand raised.
Okay. I
You
had to
called
ask.
dibs once you
I had to
raised your
You
hand.
can put both hands up if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, personally, I would say we already talked about, like, the ups and downs of financial.
Yeah.
So, when we are unexpectedly out of pocket or an event didn't work the way we want, it is stressful. We find ourselves a little overwhelmed because we still have to, at the end of the day, worry about our own rent or food or our animals.
Our animals.
So we have like a bunch of things on our plate. So when
Right.
that doesn't work out, we're a little dysregulated. But I would say for me, at the end of the day, it's just, all right, that's just one of many. So if this one doesn't work, we just have to make the next one that much better. And
Yeah.
typically with that in mind, again, without her insight and thought process on everything, I don't think it would work as well, because then when I say, all right, listen, this is where I think it failed, this is what I noticed about this, she will then lock in and try to find solutions for the next event. All right, but this event is a little bit more catered to this, and like maybe we can do this, and what if we did this instead? And then we just shoot ideas off each other. Her being the original creation of the ideas, again, she's a godsend. She's great at this, and I'm just here for the emotional wall. That's all I am. So I find that
You are a sturdy wall, my friend.
Very
Yeah,
sturdy.
you're a
Like
sturdy wall.
I feel like I wouldn't be here like where I am now without him, and especially like the concept itself is very challenging. Like I accept challenges like head on, but if you think about it, like Latin and Middle Eastern, they're both very different cultures, very different types of food. So it's
Right.
like, how can I throw both of that?
So we
on
haven't
a
really gotten
menu?
into the specifics of the food yet. You want to talk everybody through like what food it is that you're making and culturally where you think that exists, and what are the events that work the best for you versus events that are a little bit harder to figure out how much to bring, how many people are going to buy, those kinds of things. Where does that struggle come in?
Definitely, like at first when we were coming up with items for the menu, like do we want to stay in sweet, do we want to go with savory, like Latin and Middle Eastern food are both very distinct, like very different, and like I could have taken the easy way out and like used AI and have it come up with it for me, but at the end of the day, like putting actual thought to it, like the guideline was already set for me for years, because my mom would make her food, my dad would make his food, and they just throw it on the table. Like I'll have rice and beans and like a pollo guisado, which is like a chicken, like a braised chicken stew, and he would throw like tabbouleh or like hummus with pita bread, or just how he would serve his breakfast. But the guideline was already there, and it's like, okay, how do I take these traditional recipes and kind of add my twist, make it more modern, make it maybe healthier. So it was just different concepts with that same
So are most of
guideline.
your dishes things that have an emotional tie to to growing up, and then you're trying to figure out how to bring those to market with what Amesbury and Newburyport might be able to kind of latch onto a little bit.
Definitely, and it's also just like the broad range of it, because I just labeled it as Latin and Middle Eastern, so there's different regions. So like there's Salvadorian, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican, while Middle Eastern there's, my dad's Lebanese, my mom's Dominican. There's Lebanon, Pakistan, Syria. There's different regions, so I take like kind of a little bit of everything and kind of throw them there on the menu.
And do you have a signature dish that?
Oh my God. Chimichurri lamb shawarmas are like our best seller.
That sounds amazing.
It's really good.
That sounds amazing.
I think that's the best of both worlds because she got the Middle Eastern flavors with the ground, and then she also figured out a way to bring in the Hispanic, which would be the spice and the vibrancy.
Where do we buy those?
You can get we kind of switched the menu for Mother's Day, so we'll be at Ruiz Sabbaticus Mother's Day, Sunday, May 10th from 12 to 6.
Do you do any catering?
We are open to catering when we're like trying to figure that out, but as of right now, like it's hard now that we book so many like events in the future. We're just
Yeah.
now trying to figure out a proper schedule, and then also like
Yeah.
we both still have our full-time jobs.
Well, we'll also work with you to figure out if we ever do any events here, we're going to come to you first and figure out whether you can cater those events.
I
That
got
might
you.
be a good way to. Your hand was raised.
My
I can
hand
see
was.
it over there.
My
Yeah,
hand
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So, as she said, we're delving into the catering. We've actually got a couple of like inquiries about it.
Yeah.
We're not opposed because we do have a website and everything. You can contact us through website, email, whatever the case is. Obviously, it's based around the schedule that she had set up as soon as we started. So we have several big events coming up through Cider Hill and everything.
That's a good one.
That
Cider
is a
Hill,
good
every
one.
time I drive by that place, I'm like, where are all these people coming from?
It gets insane.
It
Dude.
gets
they're
insane.
they're amazing.
So in the startup portion, I guess we're dealing with their investors almost, and there's up to like 300 people a day. And if we do good on those, we get more spacing. But
Wow.
then we also have, is it North Andover or Andover?
North Andover will be at their farmers market every 2 weeks,
Okay.
starting summer.
So with the Cider Hill will be more savory because people are going to be tired. It's going to be around lunchtime.
Yep.
With farmers market, you tend to think light coffee, pastries, fresh food, good vibes, that kind of thing. So anything heavy is typically not the case because you thinking of going, buying your stuff, and then leaving because it's a light activity. You're walking around. So that falls back into the how does our environment kind of play into it. And realistically, it's just what would we want to do? What do we expect to do when we go to these things? So, for instance, the Sabbaticus, it's a brewery, obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, obviously. But with that, me, as someone who drinks and I was her test dummy, I would say that
You're like, hold
savory-
on, let me get one more beer in, and then I'll test this. So
Literally.
Yeah, pretty
actual
much.
te-
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
like what's great is they'll give us samples like while we're selling, so we'll try.
It's great.
So we'll try like our nachos with their latest brew, and like we'll definitely like posting it like both what we made and their newest brew that they're trying to promote more of.
Savory typically goes with alcohol. So we found that if we do pastries, which we originally started, we tried to do a half and half. But people are more drawn toward savory when you're drinking because it's more filling, it's more satisfactory, it helps your gut, it stabilizes things. But then if you're doing something like a farmer's market, pastries might help because the market changes. It's depending on everything that you're doing and what the event entails that you
Yeah.
have to take a step back and kind of think about it, what you as a consumer would do.
Yeah. So interesting while you were saying that, what I was thinking was that this almost feels like it goes right back to the first question where you were describing how much you've been tinkering with trying to figure out food as a form of medicine, and that you're going into these environments and you're trying to like kind of holistically figure out what is the food and dish that is going to be most conducive to the environment that you're going into, as almost like a healer of the, if you're walking around
You don't
a
want
farmer's
sweets.
market, what is what's the thing that is all of a sudden going to be that satisfier to whatever deficit you're dealing with at that moment? That's a really fun and clever way to do it.
Yeah, and it was kind of like unnecessary, but I feel like it helped me in the end. Like
Yeah.
when I was trying to figure, before I got like back into food and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and was like kind of like going through a bit of a lost period because like I couldn't go back to art. my hand was hurting like every time I would just hold a pencil.
Wow.
So what I did medical training. I tried to go back for a phlebotomy. I found out large amounts of blood was not my thing.
Okay. Phlebotomy is somebody who takes blood.
Yeah, they
okay.
take blood, they do lab work, and we also learned like AKG, so it would help with like the emergency room stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely take some amounts of blood, but seeing large amounts, I found out was not my
Yeah, I
thing.
would think that probably makes you not a great phlebotomist, if I'm saying that correctly.
I'm just saying my blood draws were perfect, but
Okay, so you were great at getting the blood, but too much blood.
too much,
Lights
and
out, or what are we
especially
talking about
it
here?
was more like it just made me like panic and nauseous. So I was like, okay, this is really not for me. And then like trying to get like the easy way into the job, like I worked in the kitchen for Anna Jake's.
Okay.
And then just seeing everything, like you're witnessing everything on the floor.
Yeah.
So it was just, I found out later on it was just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But on the bright side, all the medical training that came with it definitely helped with coming up with the recipes, like
Yeah.
learning at the end of the day, food is medicine if you do it properly.
So is that in your branding at all, guys? Is that on your website? Do you describe that philosophy? Because I feel like that philosophy is you.
I don't think we actually put that
Yeah,
in words.
I don't think so. Like, that's just how I think of it when I come up with all my recipes.
What's the name that for the restaurant? What's the
So it's Rochetti's Bakery, but we might, because of how, like, it's changed, like, it's become more savory than sweet. Like, later on, we might just go through, like, a rebranding.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
that happens all the time, guys.
So
That's
it's-
part of
Yeah.
the process of starting something is you got to figure out how to adapt to whatever the truth is.
Correct. I was gonna say because like realistically, I think our overall goal was like a bakery or cafe almost vibe
Yeah.
because then you get the best of both worlds, the sweets and you
Yeah.
get the savory. Obviously, it'd be with the cuisine that we do, it's a little bit more upscale, which we've been to several cafes kind of like that.
Yeah.
Rather than just, you go in for a quick sandwich or whatever the case is. But as she said, it kind of diverged because it seems like it's easier to infuse the two with savory rather than pastries, but she's a really good pastry chef on top of that.
I can make a mean croissant.
She can.
Really?
Yeah. It's really good. You should try it, dude.
Listen, I'm in. What did you give me that one day? What was I eating? It was something that had strawberries and cream cheese.
It was
and
guava. It was sweet pastelitos, and it had guava, and I did, usually it's traditionally made with guava and cheesecake.
Yeah.
So I just switched it up, made it my rendition. So it was guava paste and New York style cheesecake batter.
It was Oliver, back me up. I brought them up to the office. We set them aside and we're like, okay, let's get some work done. And then this is how we're going to treat ourselves. It was a 10 out of 10. Right, Oliver?
Yeah, Brett and I were like
We-
just looking at each other, taking bites out of these things. Just like, what?
We might have even ruined it because we put it in the microwave for a second, and that might have even taken away from some of what would have been like amazing if we had gotten it, because microwave always,
It tends to like flatten it.
It
Like
does.
we notice it's best, like if you're gonna like say you buy a box from us, like which they're available online to order, you get like 6 in a box. Recommend definitely like throwing it in like the oven for just a few seconds. You don't need it for that long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, if
Yeah.
anybody watches this podcast, I don't know, I never look at the camera. If anybody's watching this podcast, order these things. They're amazing. They were incredible. And I've not tried anything yet outside of that, although I'm going to get hungry after this podcast, so I'm going to eat whatever it is that.
Baklava.
I'm just gonna call it out. There's baklava in the room right next door.
So the next thing, though, that would be really interesting for you guys is to start really thinking about what's the branding, because you have an incredible story. But your story, to me, as I listen to it, what it feels like is that your story is all about balance.
Okay.
Is that you're always looking for what is, what's the balance in the food? What's the balance between the environment and the opportunity of the food? But you've built this amazing story about balance through food. I'm really excited to see where this goes for the two of you, because it's the way that you're describing the process that you're going through. I've never heard anybody describe it exactly that way, and the cultural infusion of what you're creating, and to know that it's essentially soul food. you know, because it's clearly made from the love that you
In a
have for
way.
your parents and the love that both of you have felt through food in general. Like that's what it tastes like. It tastes like somebody loved whatever, you know, tastes like it was made by somebody who loved the craft of what they were making.
Like my goal at the end of the day is for you to try my food, and I just want you to feel good.
Mission accomplished. You got it done.
Thank
you
you.
definitely got it done. All right. You ready for question number 8?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Really like this shade of purple. This would be great on like a car.
Oh my god.
And then you
Listen.
toss some like vibrant rims on.
When you get that Nissan, you let us know. We'll send you the hex code for that color purple. We'll make sure that that's exactly what you get painted on that sucker.
Got you.
Thank you.
No problem. I got you.
So the question is, what feels most important to focus on as you continue building your future? Well, as kind of redundant as it is, I feel like what's most important would be the future you're trying to go toward. So whether that be a headlong trudge through the trenches or a step back sometimes to appreciate what you have, to acknowledge why you're doing what you're doing to get toward that future, I feel like that's a big thing. As she said, it's like you acknowledge your present and you think of what you want next. So we're always trying to go for that house or that car or a feeling of relief. And realistically, to me right now, the biggest sense of relief would be to know that the business is thriving. And how I know that would be the case is she can work for herself. And then past that would be if she needs extra hands, I'll stop being a mechanic, dude. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, this is what we're working toward. And I'm willing to learn whatever it is that's needed to be able to proceed with this dream. She came up with the dream. We're just trying to refine it as a couple. So that's all it is to me.
I really want to applaud both of you for the team aspect of the way that you're looking at it. But I also want to say it's really inspiring how generous you are in your devotion to to your expertise and your passion to be able to make food. Like that's a really generous approach to take as a partner. And I think if anybody does watch this, it's gonna, how genuine you are about that is gonna come across very clearly.
I get fed good food.
Oh my god.
Right. I don't think you have a bad deal. Let me make that very clear
got a
too. Like,
great
yeah,
deal
I think
here.
you might even have the better deal out of the two, but I'm just saying that's pretty awesome the way that you're looking at that.
It's also just important just to humble yourself and appreciate what you have. And
Yes.
I know it's like easier said than done, but like at the end of the day, I'm appreciative of like now it's reaching a point that aside from like it's starting to pay for itself.
Yeah.
But I am also just appreciative of the fact of like, you know, I still have my job that I'm very comfortable at. He has his job he's comfortable at.
Yeah.
I can still comfortably pay my bills, we could take care of each other, take care of our animals. Like like my family's doing okay, his family's doing okay.
Yeah.
Like kind of staying humble and reminding ourselves where our position's at and then how do we get better from this? And like even now we're young adults, like I'll look at money in my account and I'm like, we should go out to eat. We should go to I don't know,
Dude.
Bit Bar in Salem.
That's-
like let's
that's
go
a
do
bad
something.
habit.
Or and then the adult in me is like, hey, you should totally like toss this into savings, or you should totally like pay a little extra into your credit card. Like
Yeah.
it's the little kid like wanting to do more and more and more, and then there's the adult of like, let's be responsible.
I would say our guilty pleasure and our worst part of our finances is that we love going out to eat.
Who
Yeah.
doesn't though?
So, yeah, I
It's
mean,
awesome,
yes.
isn't it?
Like I love cooking, love cooking for the both of us. Like I insist on it majority of the time, but every now and then I'm like, I just want to indulge in something. But it's also when we go out to eat, it's different. It's not just eating just so I don't have to cook and I just want to be lazy. We love going out to eat to analyze the food. That's
gonna
the
say
fun
that.
part.
Okay. So let's get some of that in. What are the restaurants around here that you're like, yep, that's it. If we were gonna go out, let's do it.
Kume Ramen in Georgetown. That's like a favorite we go back to.
is
Kume
so
Ramen in
good.
Georgetown.
They
Where in
do-
Georgetown is that?
It's like down like the main
You know,
Like right in downtown area somewhere?
yeah, right
a
in
little
down.
bit past, you know where the exit is on the highway, and
Yeah.
there's a dispensary right there. If you
Yeah.
get off the exit and head toward Georgetown, it's right next to the Dunkin' over there.
There's like a
the
Dunkin'
right-hand
and
side,
a
you
Domino's.
go
there's
down
pool,
for a
there's like
while.
a pool store over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's right there.
there,
Yeah.
that is one of our top spots. I would
It's cheaper ramen, but like you still get good quality. Like it doesn't feel like it came out of like a plastic container. Like you get so many toppings, and it's not like I'm breaking the bank. Like say we have to pay rent, but we have like a little extra side money.
Okay, I'm gonna hit this place up because my kids
It's-
go to a sleepover summer camp in Georgetown.
It's
So I'm in and
really
out of there
good.
all summer. So
It's delicious, dude.
Yeah,
I would say for the two of us to go on a date, it's like $60-$70 if we grab drinks.
okay.
Yeah, they
Like
do
drinks,
just recently
alcohol.
offered like alcoholic drinks, so like a good sake bomb with some ramen.
It's
Yeah.
delicious.
Okay,
I would
say it's
that's
worth
a
it.
good one. What else? What else is on your to-do list? I mean, if you got because this could be the other side of your business. You guys could just drive around and start reviewing
I
restaurants.
love eating out because we can always compare our food to others, and that's where you get inspiration. Like, all right, this flavor is great, but why is it great?
Yeah, like we go more in depth. Like, oh, like the sesame oil really is like amazing in this, and then he'll ask for like the chef's personal recommendations for like hot sauce. And
I always ask personal preference because then they're going to tell me their honest opinion, same way I always do for
like
customers.
serve me
Yeah.
the food how you like it.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great method. And it's also an indicator that you two are looking at food as art.
I never thought of
I
it that
agree
way.
to that. It's like you eat with your eyes, and now with in the baking world, there's this recent dessert I've been seeing pop up more at bakeries, and like unpopular opinion, yes, they are delicious. I don't know what they're called. It's a French word now. They look like realistic fruit,
Huh. I don't know.
but
what
they're
this
like
is.
layers and layers of. Voice of God. Are you able to look up the name of this dessert?
What am I looking for again?
Like the realistic dessert fruit, like the name of it. Like it's like made to look like an actual mango, but it's a dessert.
Is it like a cake or?
Yeah,
is
it's
it,
like a cake, but they layer stuff in there like mascarpone or like pureed mango. Like they add so many layers and they make it look like this realistic fruit, like a
Yeah.
raspberry or a mango or an apple. And I'm like, where's the ingredient? Like where's all the rest of it?
I don't know. if
Like I
can
want to. I
pronounce
like
this,
seeing
guys.
all the ingredients.
Hold on, you got an answer?
Oh,
It's like a. I don't know if I can pronounce this. I'm seeing something Trompe Laili or something.
that sounds that's it. It's hard to pronounce. I'm even struggling to even
French
think.
word?
Yeah, it's a French word.
No, that makes sense. Some things are so hard to pronounce sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The French do seem to be good at their food, though.
You ever realize that most of the Michelin star chefs actually train in France, though? Or they got French style more often than
Yeah.
not? It's
I-
because their techniques are so refined over years.
But I feel
So-
like that's like everywhere though. At the
I'm-
same time, French is more. It's definitely more refined. There's more attention towards it, and they definitely built like the cooking world in a way. But every region has its own refinery of cooking.
You know why French is so known?
Why?
It's because of the fact that they take every single ingredient and emphasize each ingredient. It's because, like, for instance, they'd blanch this X amount of time, they'd blanch that X amount of time, they'd sear this X amount of time to emphasize the natural ingredient. And they took that extra step to try to highlight the ingredients. French cuisine is like a staple of food, which is why, for instance, if I don't know how often you watch cooking shows or anything, but there's one on Netflix. It's about a Korean, essentially a Korean cooking show.
Yeah.
But a lot of
Culinary Wars.
I think so. A
Something like
lot
that.
of the chefs actually studied in French cuisine.
Yeah.
And that's because it's so refined. The 3-star Michelin chef emphasizes that he grew up in the US, he grew up in Korea, but French cuisine is so refined.
Yeah.
But I would say, as she said, it's every cuisine. So if you really delve headfirst into anything, you can find, upbringing or refinery in anything you go for. Which
Just like food, like we're going back to that, like dessert. It's just I like seeing everything on my plate. I want to see all the ingredients. I want to analyze each ingredient. So when you give me something like a realistic looking raspberry and say that's a dessert, I'm like, I'd rather go to this bowl of ramen to my left because I can see everything.
Yeah.
accurate.
I did get a chance one time to go to a Michelin restaurant in San Francisco.
Ooh.
And I remember the food being really, really good,
Okay.
but I want to say it was like 7 courses. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I remember being very cool was that it was a very much a visual experience, but it wasn't big portions, but everything that you ate was extremely curated to be interesting on every level. So it was visually interesting. It smelled amazing. It was delivered to you it was plated in a way that almost gave you direction on what you were supposed to do by the way that they plated and put the sauces on it. But the thing that was the most interesting about the night was that I was actually there right after I got married. We went to this restaurant. So it was like they knew that we were there after a wedding.
Yeah.
And so they took us to the back and they sat us in this very romantic seat where we could watch how the kitchen worked. So we got to eat one of our courses while we were watching these Michelin chefs, or I don't know if there's only one or if they're all Michelin chefs, but that was the coolest part. The direct communication that they had, there was no extra words.
Yeah.
It was so precise the way that they were doing everything.
No wasted movement.
No wasted movement. And I wouldn't say that they weren't speaking to each other softly, but it also was not passive aggressive.
It was straight, concise. Hey, this is when it's going to be done. All right, this is when I need it done. Okay, this is what I'm going to do next. I'm here. This
Yes.
is where we are. It's straight
Yes.
communication across the board.
Yeah, my memory was it was a lot of like, sous chef, where are you with this? This person, how are you doing with that? This, and it was like, it was very direct and it was assertive, but it was never, like if you
It's
were
like guided in a way.
Yeah, if you were receiving it on the other end, it wouldn't. I didn't get the impression that it would make you defensive. It would just make you aware that somebody has an expectation and you have to be able to respond to whatever that expectation was. It was some of the best communication I've ever heard in my life. And it was so cool to be able to be back there and understand that this is what elite looks like.
It's a very, very different world from where we are. And
Very
it is
meticulous.
Yeah.
inspiring almost because they dedicate so much time to it and they've learned so many techniques through different individuals or different schools or whatever the case is. And they were so passionate about what it is. And Michelin chefs can't do anything without passion.
Yes.
They always strive for better. They always think about what can I do that creates a better outcome. And that's what's so insane about those type of experiences. Unfortunately, we haven't had one just yet.
Yeah.
But
Add it to your
do.
list.
Definitely like to
It
experience
is.
it.
I
Yeah.
want to check out the one in Boston. I don't know if you heard, but Boston finally got a Michelin star restaurant.
No, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So there's like steps that go down, and it's like one of those ones you wouldn't really pay any mind to, but it's under a set of
I
stairs.
think they're
almost.
like reserved like a year in advance.
They're so booked out. They weren't.
Wow.
We heard about it before they became Michelin.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, that sounds cool. Because as you said, it's a course. So they decide the course. You get nothing but, the entrance fee.
Yeah, it's not like a menu set
Yeah.
for you.
They pair drinks with it. I guess they would have to
Like
work
a-
with a sommelier, no?
Yes.
So they would have these drinks paired with the food, and they have this course well thought out, and you eat it as is. And now they're completely booked out. But I think this last year or so, they finally got a Michelin star. It's the first Michelin star restaurant Boston's had. So in case you're interested, there is one, but it's hard to get in now.
Yeah.
And I heard that the food is fantastic.
I would
Top
go
quality.
to. I mean, like, who wouldn't want to go to as many amazing restaurants as you possibly could? Like a dream vacation to me would be to go someplace extremely interesting and eat my way through that city.
I want to go to Venice.
Yeah, but just like go
Yeah.
to Venice, go see things, go see the architecture, and then hit up
eat all the
every
food.
restaurant you can
Yeah.
as you're going through.
That's where we pair on that one. We're just like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious in how they cook everything.
I just want
Because
to travel to see the food.
Yeah.
Try different
I have a
foods.
couple curiosities about restaurants in general that I think that you two, I don't know. I just, this is the curiosity that I always have is one of the things that I think would be cool about a restaurant is that I don't think that you always want to order off of a menu. Any restaurant that I've ever been to that doesn't have, The best dining experiences I've ever had have been like I sit down committed to being excited about whatever they put in front of me.
Okay.
So I never know why restaurants are so committed to having menus rather than creating smaller venues and just being like, for any foodie out there that wants to come, tonight is going to be this meal. And it's like $100 to sit down at the table and you get what you get, but it's not a menu-based kind of thing. It's a passion-based thing. I always wondered why that never happened.
I feel like those are just hard to find with nowadays, with everybody having like specific diets they want to follow,
Yeah.
restrictions. It's just very hard to see experiences like that, which I would love to experience it of itself. Like,
Yeah.
surprise me, give me some, like, surprise me with the dish you think is like the best. But it's nowadays it's hard.
Yeah. I think I'm always interested. It feels like so much of what you have to do for every business now is catering to the fringes.
Yeah.
Rather than just kind of figuring out like how do you just make something terrific and be like, well, this isn't a restaurant for the fringes. This is a restaurant for anybody who can sit down at a table and eat whatever you put in front of me. I always thought that would have been, that's a really cool vibe that is hard to find, especially in this area.
Correct.
Because everything is a restaurant and you're like, okay, am I going to this place to be able to get a burger? Am I going to this place to be able to get this? But I personally would love to sit down at a restaurant where it was just like, one of the coolest meals I've ever had, maybe even better than the Michelin restaurant, is one time I went to New Jersey and this guy who was a GM of a dealership that I was training with, he had a buddy who owned this series of Italian restaurants, but they were like pizzerias. And we went in and it looked just like any pizza place that you'd go to, like a normal pizza counter, order off of a thing. And then he opened a curtain and he brought us behind this curtain and we walked into this like kind of small restaurant area, maybe 10 tables.
Kind of like a speakeasy in a way.
And then we sat there and the owner of the restaurant just kept bringing us meal after meal after meal. And we never said a word about what we wanted or anything that we were doing. And it was just like octopus and like,
That's cool.
It was amazing. It wasn't fancy, but it was incredible. And I continue to be fascinated with why it's so hard for restaurants to be able to offer people curiosity in that way. Yeah.
So I have a couple of things to say to this.
Okay.
I feel like the reason most restaurants have a difficulty doing so is because they try to draw people with an expectation.
Yeah.
Because curiosity doesn't always go for everyone. Curiosity is scary to some because what if I don't like it kind of thing. So they give clear expectations and go off a clear guidelines almost, because then you know what to expect, you know what you want to go in for, which is actually good for a lot of businesses because if somebody already knows what you have, they know what they're going to get at all times. It keeps the business flowing. But I do like the outlook on that curiosity aspect because that's what makes Michelin star restaurants for the most part so intriguing to so many people. And it's because you get given their vision. It, as you said, it's like art. It's so good because then you get to dive into their mind almost, like why did they pair these flavors with what they did, and you just get to go for the ride. So you have almost no say, like, hey, I have no allergies, give me whatever you want. And truth be told, that's what I do every night.
Here's what I want to offer you guys. That space out there sits 12 people.
Yeah.
If you ever want to hold a night where you just want to bring people through an experience and you want to bring them through your experience, where you just sit them down and they have the greatest meal they're ever going to have, but you just, you plot it out ahead of time. They don't even know what it's going to be. You can have the space for free. You can invite anybody you want. You can sell the tickets for anything you want. Keep everything for yourself. I would love to support the two of you of getting more people to be able to taste your food. Like, I think that would be such a cool way for people to be able to get out of their, like, needing to make it
Like to their expectations.
yeah,
It breaks the
Like,
norm.
kinda
That
like-
being
Yeah.
said, though, Brett and I will have to be invited.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh,
we need
absolutely.
we need 2 out of the 12 seats. Thank
Well,
you.
obviously.
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah,
guys-
and I'm sure
Oh.
Randy's going to want to be here after talking to you
Oh,
too, because he
yeah.
said that was kind of a must anyway. So now we went from 12 to 9 seats that are available for you, but we'll buy our seats.
Oh, don't. That's free.
if we do something like that, I feel like that's more of a community outreach, and all. At that point, it would be more like a, support us at any local event. If something like that, if it's a given opportunity, the space is already free. I don't think realistically.
And then
we'd
even with
be
catering,
expecting.
like just recently I had someone speak to me for a future catering order, and like I just want to sit there and talk to you and just see what is your expectation with the menu. Like, what do you want to see? Do you want shrimp? Do you want more of a veggie-based menu? Do you want more of a protein-based? So I just want to genuinely just sit with you and talk with you to see, like, what do you expect from me?
So I'm only speaking from one perspective, which is just mine at this point.
Yeah.
I want to know what the chef would make. I want to know what spice the chef would make. And then I just want to be able to experience what you are capable of. Because one of the things that happens when you look at a menu and you order off of a menu, you're ordering something that is sort of at the standard of scale.
Yeah.
Like it's a version of a meal that they have to be able to make in repetition over and over and over again. But if you were able to sit down at a table and you had an artist, that could make something that would just knock your socks off, like what an experience that would be to sit down and not even know what you were going to get, but then just be able to like take advantage of the mystery of that experience. I think that would be amazing. But I'm only speaking from a single perspective here.
No, I agree. The food she makes that she doesn't sell to the public is pretty delicious.
That's what I'd want to try.
I would say like one of the most interesting ones that I like. Again, we go out to eat and try different foods. So
Yeah.
my favorite pastime is to try to guess what ingredients she uses.
Okay.
So
I'm scared to see what recipe I've come up
So-
with that I haven't sold to the public.
for instance, it'd be one of my favorites that has like a depth of flavor would be her lamb feta burgers. So she makes homemade burgers with ground lamb, and she has feta cheese and everything in it. But then she also makes like a tomato jam almost.
It is spicy tomato harissa jam.
Oliver,
Yeah.
I want to go to this dinner. You want to go to this dinner? Is this not?
Brett, I'm literally there.
Yeah. We're in. If you want to do this dinner, we want to give you the
Sounds
space. We
so
want to
good.
be in
Essentially,
on this.
the feta lamb burger with the spicy harissa tomato jam.
So good.
And
I think you
arugula.
could easily sell tickets. Like, I think that there's probably tons of people in the Amesbury area that are foodies. And if you just said, foodies welcome $75 for a seat at the table, and then you feed everybody for the night or whatever that is, I think that I would sign up. I would definitely buy a seat to do that. I think that would be
Definitely.
awesome.
I've noticed like my greatest struggle, and even now like with Sabbaticus, like they're very helpful with like when I'm coming up with prices. They're like, you should charge more,
Yes.
more. But I feel like it's the humbling side of me, and it's like I don't want to scare people away.
Coming from
I always thought of this.
others.
Don't
Yeah.
you think this with art sometimes? You were a painter, right? And I understand that there's a massive difference between somebody who's a talented painter and not a talented painter, that there is a huge difference between that. But sometimes you can get somebody who is a talented painter and their artwork is worth $500. And then you have another talented painter that somehow has gotten their artwork to be worth $5,000.
Yeah.
And I don't know enough about art to know, but it also at some point feels like it's just the confidence of the artist to charge $5,000.
Yeah.
That might also be part of like, if you guys know your food is good, don't worry about it. Like people can pay $100 to go out for the night and have an amazing meal. But then the thing is that you got to make it an experience.
Yeah.
And that's really the difference, is that you two have been describing all night as food as an experience. And that is what lacks in most places that you go, is that
That's
it's
fair.
food as a means to an end. But food as an experience, you walk into a room and everything is like, taken care of, and you're about to have a meal that's a mix of cultural spices and culinary experience that you've never had before, because it's someone's original artwork that they're putting in front of you. That sounds fucking incredible.
It's also
That
like
sounds
now,
amazing.
like the world has become like such a scary place. So I feel like as a definite now, so you're not like just doom scrolling or just
Yeah.
depressed thinking about the world today. It's like it's important to romanticize little moments that you can.
Hell yeah.
So like even if you're just like we're doing a trip to the farmer's market just to stock up on some groceries, like take your time, romanticize the moment, like you're having a good day stroll.
And I think we gotta let go of all the haters. You know what I mean?
For
If
real.
you're
That
out there
too.
trying to hate on people, like, good for you. But I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Like,
Like the waste of energy.
waste of energy. Like, I want to put
Correct.
all my energy into trying to promote people who want to be awesome, and I want to put none of my energy into indulging people who want to hate on other people. Like, what a waste of time.
Definitely, and it's just how like now with owning a business, like do I want to just buy everything from like I could buy everything from Restaurant Depot because I'm able to, but I at the same time don't want to do that. I want to support other local businesses as they supported me. So like with Cider Hill, like they've offered like you can use our produce to make all of like your cuisine, or like now with the Mother's Day menu. We'll have avocado ceviche, which is the shrimps
Yes, sir.
with plantain
I am
chips. It's
hungry
my
right now,
mom's
so
recipe.
you're making it. You're like that. You know, never go grocery shopping when you're starving, kind of thing.
Oh
As you
my God,
describe
yeah.
each one of these things, but that sounds incredible.
Yeah, so we'll be making avocado ceviche with plantain chips, and the shrimp were like I could go to a market basket and get 20 pounds of shrimp easy, but I'd rather work locally, so I am getting shrimp locally sourced from Newburyport Fish for that event, so I can also promote them as well.
Yeah. I think that the thing that's going to happen with food, and I understand that this is this could sound like it's an entitled opinion, but I do think that food is worth paying more for. It's what nourishes you completely, you know what I mean, in the way that
Definitely.
you've described it. So I think that there is going to be a movement towards people being willing to pay a premium for people who create premium food products. That won't happen everywhere, but I think especially as AI becomes more popular, I do think that everyone's going to get more comfortable across the board. And so being at the forefront of being a food artist, I think is not a bad place to be right now.
That's a complicated one, though. The reason being is because I kind of understand where she's coming from on the pricing aspect, and I do agree that good food deserves a good price. But coming from a place where I didn't exactly know where my food was going to come from next, or the price of good ingredients are always more. And so realistically, the people who can't afford it always end up getting gypped. They get the super processed food. It's super unhealthy,
Or
a bunch
like-
of guck.
Like I don't know, you go to Taco Bell, you want like a crunch wrap, and there's barely any meat in there. Like, if you're going to pay this amount for what I'm offering you, I want to give you like to the fullest of its potential.
Yes. I think that what you're bringing up to, David, is really important, which is that I think what we have to start focusing on in general is inequality of opportunity. Because we just shouldn't be selling that food to anyone. You know what I mean? Like, we need to
Okay.
make sure that the food that is being sold to everyone is not poison.
I agree.
Right. So it's
Definitely.
crazy that we would live in a society where you have any child is being fed something that we think is literally poisonous or dangerous is not something that we should be accepting. But what we should be doing is trying to figure out how we subsidize opportunities for everybody to eat well.
Yeah.
Because we're the richest nation in the world, there's no reason that anyone shouldn't be able to eat healthy food and be able to get access to that. We just have to figure out, like, how do we change our mindset to not accept any less than that?
I would say greed has a big part to play in it, if you ask me.
I-
We fall back onto the talk of prices. I do agree that to a degree, prices, reflect the cuisine that you're getting. But at the same time, when you make the price so high for premium customers, you make it so out of touch for the common people. So if you go too high because your food is worth that, the normal people won't be able to get it. But if you go too low, you also don't get anything and you can't continue. So you have to find that nice medium, which is why it's so difficult to traverse where we are, because sometimes we're making good profit and it pays for itself, and other times we're not. And that's because we're trying to stay in a humble area
Yes.
where we can profit off of it, but we also want, like, let's say a mother off of food stamps to still be able to afford it with the little bit of money they have. Because I grew up in poverty. And, she came from, and then her father worked up. So where it stands is we just want it to where everyone has access to it. it's still a little pricey to people who don't have, but it's more in the price range if you can justify good food.
What you just said is absolutely a testament to how beautiful you two are as people. That you're thinking through that level to make sure that you're trying to make sure that what you offer is available to people who need it the most. That's a beautiful way to do it. What you are going to have to think about from a business perspective is how you make sure that if you have been in a scarcity model, how you figure out how you don't use scarcity mindset and scarcity behaviors when you're trying to build an abundance business.
Okay.
Very complicated to do though, David, for the very reason that you were just saying, right? Because you have to look at who is the actual market that you're selling into. And would you be better off selling something at a higher price for the people who can afford it and then just giving it to somebody who can't?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you had somebody that walked up that couldn't afford it, could you build in the profit margin for the people who can so that you can be as generous as you want to be for the people who cannot? That would be another way of thinking about how you don't leave anybody behind, but you also don't miss the opportunity to take the abundance approach for the people who could afford to pay you in abundance, and never make sure that you never give up what is beautiful about what you just said, which is that you leave an equality of opportunity for all people to eat something beautiful.
Definitely.
But I'm not saying that what we were just saying there is the right answer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's really important to step back from everything and try to look at it as objectively as you can and make sure that that as you move on to the next thing that you're doing, that you're always evaluating, am I bringing old ideas into a new venture?
Okay.
Or am I bringing the right ideas into the new venture? And those two things can sometimes be very complicated to figure out how you do it.
It definitely is, like, especially whenever I come up with the new menu items and I'm talking to said business of who I'm serving it to, like whether it be like Affamata, we have a pop-up there, or same thing at Brewery Sabbaticus. It's just now I'm just trying to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
Like, how can I make this still affordable, but it's still enough that I can make a profit off of it? But I don't shy away. Like, I don't want to charge like $25 for a shawarma. It may be like super packed and a very like big sandwich, but at the same time, I don't want to do that. I don't feel right doing that.
Yeah, you guys should stay right in the pocket of what feels right and then experiment.
Okay.
Move things up a little bit, down a little bit as you go from event to event, because it's very unlikely that people are going to the exact same people are going to be at the exact same events.
Yeah.
So and then just monitor what works here, what doesn't work there, what can you do, what can you not do. But what I would say, I believe this as a business owner, and I really admire what you were saying, David, is that I think that we should always be building in the mindset to understand how that no one gets left behind. How do you figure out how you can run your business to make sure that it is gives you the greatest opportunity to reach the goals that you have, but making sure that you're not doing that in a way that makes you feel about the version of the business that you're building, which is extremely complicated. There's no easy way to do a business and not run into ick.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time and patience and practice to try to figure out how you find that balance. But that sound that you just heard is the last question, and I think that I am reading the last question. Okay. I'm hoping that you raise your hand as soon as I read it, that you're excited. You're that excited
All right,
to
let's
answer
go.
this.
Let's see.
All right. The expectations are high.
This is an anchor question. So this is essentially the question that is the 9th question for every podcast that we do. But you're getting our newest anchor question. No one has ever had this before.
Oh,
But it could be the beginning of every question that we do from here on out at number 9. What does your best life look like?
That's a good one.
So
Immediately. You called it.
Sir. Yeah, that hand went up fast. Let's hear it.
I'd say my best life would look like, ideally, one where we're happy, we work for ourselves, and we can take care of those we cherish.
Oh.
So literally, it embodies everything that we've said tonight. We want to work for ourselves. We want this dream to continue to multiply, whatever the case is. We want our house, we want our land, but we also would love to take care of our family if necessary, if it came down to it, because our family has always been there for us and helped to support us, whether it's verbally or financially, whatever the case is, as much as they can, as little as they can.
Yeah, they're your family. That's like, yeah.
Our family, and at the same time, our biggest inspiration or motivation.
So ideally, I would say that that would be where we go. That's my ideal future. We have no regrets. We get to do new experiences. We can go to this new restaurant that we've heard of just because we want to try their cuisine.
Or like a new state we've never been to just to visit and check it out. Like just recently, we never been to Vermont. We checked out Vermont for the first time. We're like, oh my God, it's lovely here.
How fucking awesome does it feel that that's the direction that you're heading in?
It's honestly pretty fucking cool. I would love to go to a different country.
Yeah.
We have countries up. She wants me to take me to DR. I want to go to Puerto Rico. We have so many trips that we want to do, but it's slow and steady, and we can't rush it because then we can ruin the opportunities we have now, but we can't hold back. It's that whole, you don't get that, hey, now is the right time, so we're trying to tread that fine line.
Yes. Guys, the dream that you're describing requires delayed gratification. It requires the period that you're currently in. You know what I mean? It requires the hard work and the living on that edge. But people who do delayed gratification, that's how the whole world has been built. The entire world has been built off of people who were willing to do something hard before they got something great on the other end of it. And that is exactly what the two of you have been describing all night, is how hard you're willing to work and delay that for this time period so that you can make sure that you live your best life moving forward, which I think what you just described is also an amazing version of a life to live.
You flatter me. I don't know how to respond. I don't know.
So I guess my response to that question, it's pretty much same guidelines, but a bit more detailed. Like I have a vision for what the goal is, aside from like houses and land and being able to take care of both of our families, is like for the dream. Like I'd love to turn this into, it's gonna sound a bit
Dream
over
big.
like a
Dream big.
yeah, dream big,
Yeah.
but greenhouse cafe. Like I want a place that you feel transported.
Okay, tell us more, because this is very interesting. Like the cafe is a greenhouse?
Is a greenhouse, like
Okay.
in the greenhouse. Like I want you to enter and feel like you've just been transported to another dimension.
I want to go here. At a farm, is this greenhouse in a more, like, could this be in a mill building that you're going in and it's like a greenhouse? Like, what would it have to be able to pull off this vision?
It's more of like I have the guideline and now it's just putting it into fruition, because like there was this restaurant we'd go all the time. They closed like right after COVID from how difficult it's been. Like it's a place in Brooklyn, it's called Sahara.
Okay.
And it was a restaurant we would go every time. It was like also my dad ate only halal, like he was only able to eat halal meats.
Okay.
So it was like the only safe spot we can go to where he can look at anything on the menu and would not have to worry about like, he can't eat this, he can eat that.
I feel silly asking this question, but I don't know what halal meat.
So halal grade meat is essentially meat that's been like, it's a cleaner butchering process.
Okay.
Like it drains all the blood. It's a much cleaner process than regular processing we do here.
That makes sense.
But in a way, the meat's also blessed.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it more humane on
It's
the
a
slaughtering?
more, yes, also a more humane way of butchering.
Yeah.
But he's very strong, like adamant on that from obviously his culture. So that was always like our safe space. And a restaurant, we also created memories. And it being in Brooklyn, like, you don't have much backyard space. So they had this backyard space attached to the restaurant, and it was in a green, like so, kind of like a greenhouse in a sense. It had a fountain, it had plants going all along the trellis, and I loved sitting out there as a kid whenever we'd go there to eat. That was like literally, I begged it every time. I was like, no, we have to go to the terrace. We have to eat there. And just that feeling alone, I want to recreate it. in my vision.
So how can we all help you as a community? How can we help you fulfill this dream, guys? Like what would be what's the
Whether
step
it be
that
like
you're in right now
mill
versus
building or genuine like actual greenhouse building, I just want to create a place that like, what's that museum in Boston, the Isabel Stewart Garden kind of it. You can't go in the courtyard, but that in itself feels like you've been transported. I want to recreate something like that where you can sit, eat, and honestly create genuine memories in.
hands up? I got to go to the hand.
Thank you.
I
It's
gotta go to the
necessary.
It's
As
very
a community,
polite.
I would say the best way to support us, if you're interested in it, would be to follow us on any social media to see where we are going to come up, any pop-up events, because we're based off of pop-up events right now. We have an online, you can order sweets. We primarily do sweets through there. If you're interested in savory, you would have to follow our online because we only do savory in person.
Okay.
So that differs. We
Just
aren't at a
makes it
stage
better,
to
like manageable.
we aren't at a stage to where we can do savory for order, but pastries we definitely can. So if you are interested in it, we do a bunch of pastries online. We do have a website. I mean,
So what is the website? So plug the website right now.
It
so that we-
is www.rocherysbakery.com. We do Sunday
Can you
pickup.
say that slower so that if people were typing it in, that they would know exactly what to type? Because I want to make sure that people can get to you.
rocherysbakery.com, ROCHERRYS, and then bakery.
Okay.
So if you go on there, you can do online orders. Within a certain amount of order that you do, we'll be opening up delivery again. With the
More like in
events.
the wintertime when nobody really wants to go outside.
Yeah.
With the delivery service, obviously, it has to be at a certain amount to justify us going out to do it. We do pop-ups, just follow through and,
Oh yeah,
check
I
into our
update
journey,
all
essentially.
events that we'll
Okay.
be at through the website. You can contact me through there, especially if like catering or anything like that. Or if you just have any questions, I'm available.
I think that anybody who does watch this podcast should be inspired to support the two of you, because I think that you're exactly what the world needs more of, right? Which is two people who are ambitiously following a dream to be able to better your lives and the lives of people that you love by being passionate about something that you're great at. Like, how does it get better than that? That is exactly what everybody should be striving to do. So I will certainly help you in all the ways that I can. I see you every day, so I'm going to continue to check in with you and figure out how we can support and what resources we can put to that and how we can make that happen. But I do hope that this podcast is also trying to grow. So I don't know how many people will watch it, but you guys can come back on here anytime, especially if we grow and continue to kind of share your vision of where you're getting to and where you
Progression
want
of
to
the
do.
journey.
But I would say to both of you, the most important thing is just don't lose the vision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna run into stuff that's gonna be hard. And the one thing, if I've learned anything about all of the businesses that I participated in, it's that the only people that you can't stop are people who won't quit.
Okay.
Everything else, there's a reason why it won't work. The ones that always work are the ones with people behind them that realize that life is about having a vision, and some of the major pleasure that you get from life is figuring out if you can execute that vision. It might not even end up being exactly the vision you have now, but if you pursue it, it'll turn into something that's maybe even more beautiful than what you could imagine right now in this moment. So, so grateful that you decided that you wanted to come on and have this experience together. So grateful that I got to meet you and attach all the wonderful things that I had heard about you from everybody else. They said that you were handsome. They said that you were charismatic. They said that you could talk. They were right on all fronts, David. Look at this. And you own a fish mart? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
That fish mark is goated. Check out David's fish mark in Salisbury, guys.
Do you want to get the website for that as well? Do you want to?
I don't know.
They take cash only, in case you don't know.
Oh yeah, that is a
It's a big one.
It's kind of good on their part though.
It is good.
Both of you, genuinely, Thank you for coming on the podcast. I hope you had a really good time. I want to do one more thing to kind of close out the podcast, if that's okay. We started with a breath.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think we finish with a breath and we close this thing out like with the same peace that we brought into this experience? Let's bring the peace out on the other side too.
I agree, but can we first say thank you, God Voice? We
Oh.
appreciate
Thank
all
you,
the
God
research.
Yeah.
Your
You're
research
welcome,
has
guys.
been appreciated.
Voice of God feels appreciated. That's excellent. All right, let's do the same thing we did last time. We'll count down 1 to 3, and then take a deep breath, and then we'll close out this episode. So 1, 2, 3. Reem, David, that is a wrap on the Unscripted Room.